So like where we're sitting right now, Abraham Lincoln probably had a beer.
I would say.
History says that they were notorious sots, and they decided to settle their argument like drinking men awfully do by gambling.
Everything has value, no matter how small or trivial. Everything has value. Everything required time and effort.
All right, we're inside Obed and Issac here in Springfield, and I got so many questions. Karen, thanks for letting us use the place here and ask a couple of questions. Obed and Issac, the name comes from?
So Obed was my husband's great-great-grandfather, and Issac was the individual who owned the house that you're sitting behind right now, and we moved it 6 blocks. His name was Issac Lindsay. So when we put this block together to create Obed and Issac, I thought it was just more appropriate that we honored the 2 gentlemen that built the buildings, and so we called it Obed and Issac.
So there are 2 buildings.
There's 2 buildings.
There's this building we're in, which is more of the brewery and tap room, and then you've got the other building that is more of the restaurant.
So we have 2 buildings that make up this compound here, and the larger white building, which was Obed's restaurant, that serves as our restaurant and our kitchen. Where we're sitting today is the carriage house to the family property of Obed Lewis that we've converted and made it our brew house. So the carriage house converted brew house, and then the building that you're sitting behind right now to your back, that was Isaac's Lindsay home that he built with the help of Abraham Lincoln, a loan of $650 in order to complete it. Abraham Lincoln has the note, and it is documented. I have a copy of the note that Abraham Lincoln signed.
Abraham Lincoln helped build it in terms of getting the funding, or he was out there?
He helped build it by being the banker for Issac Lindsay so that he could build his family home. Well, that house was going to be raised by a local clinic, and we partnered together and we saved it by moving the house to this site, which we owned, and then we converted the house and made it an auxiliary property to where we're sitting today.
So the house was somewhere else.
It was 6 blocks from here. And we created a beer even called the 6 Block Bach because we wanted to honor the move and the struggles that we went through.
And you think maybe Abe and Obed would like have a couple beers while their kids played?
Absolutely.
So like where we're sitting right now, Abraham Lincoln probably had a beer.
I would say.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but we're absolutely certain.
He and Obed Lewis were very good friends.
Yeah.
Obed was his carriage maker, and there's documentation, and Obed was his honorary pallbearer when he was brought back to Springfield. So I guarantee you they had a beer in this backyard at one point.
That's fantastic. Thanks for preserving all of this, and again, if the beer's not any good, then what are we doing? But to have a delicious beer made here on site, in the footsteps of Abraham Lincoln, I mean, that's just nuts.
And so you need to talk to Zach.
All right, get Zach over here. Can we make that happen through the magic of TV editing? Zach here is the head brewer at Obed and Isaac's here in Springfield. Thanks for giving us a little bit of time. I know it's a crazy time right now.
It absolutely is, but thanks for coming and visiting us.
So the beer that you make is, how would you describe it? What's the one word that sums up the beer here at Obed and Isaac's microbrewery and eatery in Springfield, Illinois?
I would say Springfield.
Yeah.
It's the beer of Springfield. We don't try to be anything we're not. We do venture into some new things, and we try to be on the pushing edge of the industry. But at the same time, we try to pay respect to what we've always been and what this town is. We have a very deep-rooted history and preserving the history of this town, and we try to do that through the beers. So we try to pay homage to all the people who've come before and all the pieces of history that made this business what it is.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't make a lot of sense to have a brewery, a facility that's as rooted in history as this place is, and have it be all new, funky, one-hit wonders that no one's ever heard of. It's got to be the kind of beer. I mean, I imagine that a lot of the things that are on the menu here are beers that Abe would enjoy himself, right?
I'd like to think so. We try to keep it pretty simple and basic, and being that we're also a restaurant, we try to keep it with beers that'll pair well with food. A lot of our beers are going to be in that 4 to 6% alcohol by volume range, things that'll pair well with just about any food, whether it be blonde ales, amber ales, pale ales, IPAs, all amongst our year-round flagship offerings. But we do venture out with the remaining taps that aren't dedicated to flagships, to fruited kettle sours and double dry hop New England IPAs. We've done some fun things in the recent past, and looking forward to the future of doing some more of those.
What kind of volume are you cranking out in a year here?
So we will actually do close to 1,000 barrels of sales annually here out of this facility.
Wow.
It is a lot to keep up with in the summertime. Summertime's very tough, as you can imagine, with this beer garden and this great facility we have here. We're a very popular destination.
I mean, to drink beer and look at Abraham Lincoln's house while you're doing it,
great.
there's nowhere else in the world you can do that.
Yeah, and if you turn around, you can see the state capitol building out in front of the restaurant. So it's great to be part of downtown and be so deeply rooted in the downtown of Springfield, and also just to be part of a company that embraces community and history.
This is really well balanced. Is that something that you go for? Because the Cascade
Absolutely.
and the malt are just right down the middle. That's perfect.
That beer balance is key. Not always, not with every beer we do. Sometimes, if I've got a decent supply of hops just burning a hole in the freezer, we'll have to go a little out of balance and dump them in by the bucket loads. So we've started to do some hazy IPAs here as of the past few months. One that I've tried to kind of get back to the roots of Springfield and Abraham Lincoln is the Haze-Broham Lincoln, which is just reckless amounts of hops. And it rotates every batch, what hops those may be, but that's been really, really well received. So we're trying just to stay up to date with what everyone else is doing and put our own spin, not try to follow too closely in the footsteps of everyone else, but definitely stay up to date and give the people what they want. And what they want right now is more hops. So we're trying to deliver on that.
As balanced as this is, I can't say I'm surprised, because as a great man once said, you can't have any divides in beer, right?
Absolutely.
A beer divided against itself, I cannot stand. I think that's the quote.
Yeah, I think it was Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, or
He had all
Thomas Jefferson.
He had
or
all the good beer quotes.
one of them Rushmore cats. Zach, keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Obed and Issac in Springfield. So glad this isn't a parking lot. Cheers.
Cheers.